Aquarius is an air and fixed sign. On an energetical level, we see the solidification of ideas. The fixation creates the formation of new concepts. For this reason, Aquarius represents progress and innovation. In Aquarius, we see the flourishing of inventions, genius, decentralization, and the regrouping of ideas by affinity. On the darker side, we see the inability to connect with emotions, coldness, lack of compassion, extreme dogmatism, and a total denial of the natural self. Aquarius can become a great defender of transhumanism, with a tendency to see the body as simply matter. Mental dissociation and the habit of conceptualizing emotions as a defense mechanism create a feeling of alienation and of not being able to feel the vitality of life. Although Aquarius seeks social equality and has a reputation for giving themselves to a cause, in reality there is a great shadow within this sign, which is that of control through a closed and very inflexible ideology. Pluto is going to bring this shadow into the light so that we can abandon certain habits that do not allow us to progress. That will be Pluto's job while transiting Aquarius. Of course, it will be lived on different levels. Each one of us will find our own dogmatisms and dissociations. Some of us will act unconsciously and will want to implement our ideology on others. Others of us will act more consciously and do the work on our own shadow. During the transit of Pluto in Aquarius, power struggles can arise between groups, both political and social. Some of these groups will act from the shadow of Aquarius, wanting to implement ideas that everyone must abide by, leaving aside the value of the individual. Whatever arises, it all happens because a transformation is taking place. Consciousness is the light side of Aquarius. During this transit, we will also see the rise of great thinkers, new philosophies, and even the development of a new psychology that will address the manifestation of the shadow of humanity. Although there will be a strong trend towards intellectualization, Neptune will remain in Pisces until 2025, something that may help maintain the connection with what is magical and with empathy. Although for some, this position may indicate the desire to see things better than they really are. Starting in 2025, Neptune begins its transit through Aries, where it will stay for 12.5 years. There, it might begin a new period of idealization, confusion, and acceptance of identity. As in all cases, this can manifest in various ways. One of them can be the idealization of the hero, the warrior, and on the other hand, the recognition of the individuality of all living beings. From 2008 to 2024, we have been going through the transit of Pluto in Capricorn. During this period, we have seen, and are still seeing, the transformation of the Capricorn principles that have reigned during the last 248 years. With Pluto in Capricorn, outdated structures are dismantled, voluntarily or involuntarily. Transmutation occurs on several levels. One can experience it consciously or unconsciously. Pluto comes to transmute what exists, to create a new version of it. Everything that resists change will experience it more intensely, since Pluto's energy cannot be stopped and will press when it encounters a blockage. We notice the energy of Pluto when the survival instinct is awakened and we act out of compulsion. Sometimes what we see scares us. The truth is that it was always there, in the basement of the unconscious. In Capricorn, we see what we have suppressed through customs, traditions, and regulations. We have seen the fall of Hollywood glamour through the complaints and subsequent trial of Harvey Weinstein, for example. All this happened during the transit of Neptune in Pisces. Lack of trust in financial institutions and government centralization fueled the success of cryptocurrency and much more. On the other hand, Pluto in Capricorn inclines us to look at these issues in depth and gives us the courage to investigate and understand the motivations behind the need for power, social projection, and success. A good way to understand what's ahead is to take a look at the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. During that period, we have seen the following: the French Revolution, the independence of the United States, the metric system that was adopted by France, establishing itself as a global standard of measurement, surpassing the imperial system in the process, the apogee of the Age of Enlightenment, and the beginning of the abolitionist movement. The quote from Kant can exemplify the energy of Pluto in Aquarius better than anyone. In 1978, at the beginning of Pluto transit through Aquarius, Uranus was transiting Gemini. We will see this configuration once again in 2025, exactly on July 7th, when Uranus passes from Taurus to Gemini and Pluto is already in Aquarius. Pluto empowers, deforms, corrupts, transforms. We can imagine that Pluto in Aquarius awakens the struggle for the survival of certain ideologies or political groups. Pluto gives power to ideas, a strong drive, and a lot of passion. Pluto also awakens the memory that are found in the DNA and that have been passed down from generation to generation. In Aquarius, Pluto can bring to the surface fears of change brought about by new inventions, progress, and social equality. This can create a clash between those who fear change and the new ideology that arise. As I have mentioned before, Aquarius, although innovative, is somewhat dogmatic and does not change its mind easily. Its innovative power can also manifest as not very flexible. On the other hand, the ability to understand social movements and their motivations can cause a very deep intellectual current, especially considering that Uranus will be in Gemini in 2025, opening the possibility of new and very rapid ways of disseminating information. With Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini, we could see the implementation of universal free education, for example, which would be wonderful. What we will see surely will be a very strong desire for social equality and also the rise of secret societies. As I have said before, during the previous transit of Pluto in Aquarius, the Enlightenment reached its peak. In 1789, the French Revolution was born from this movement, where the old authorities were eliminated in order to remake society under the slogan Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. And we already know what happened to Marie Antoinette. This is Pluto, passionate and sometimes ruthless. Despite the possible conflicts that may occur, we will see the rise of deep thinkers. During the transit of Pluto first in Capricorn and then in Aquarius during the 18th century, the objective was to combat ignorance. At the time, humanity sought to eliminate religious and traditional beliefs and to focus on the rational questioning of reality, emphasizing progress. On the other hand, Pluto also speaks of control and manipulation, especially when experienced from the lowest vibrations. And in Aquarius, we can talk about control and manipulation through the mind, through ideas. This can bring some form of mentalism. Perhaps it is the social diffusion of these practices, since Uranus in Gemini indicates, among other things, the release of information. Be that as it may, in the past, this transit has brought great progress in society. We see a new era coming where knowledge will be the star. Pluto leads us to delve into the ideologies we follow and the groups to which we belong. Pluto will make us investigate the motivations that bind us to them and transform what needs to be transformed in order to allow progress. What can we expect during the 20 years that Pluto is in Aquarius? A great social reform, fanatism, secret societies, the rise of great thinkers, a great emphasis on knowledge, and objective interest in esotericism and the occult science, mass psychology, liberté, égalité, fraternité, a new approach to existence, extreme ideologies coming to the surface, mentalism, transhumanism, deep healing of mental fixations through alternative therapies, social power, and the power of the people, animal rights. As always, it is in our hands to manifest the world we want to live in. Listening to our own fanatism, our mental inflexibility, and learning to dialogue and include everyone when thinking about progress can be difficult during this time that is coming, but it's not impossible. As Kant says, dare to know and use your own mind. This is something that will be asked to us when Pluto is in Aquarius. If you have questions about this topic or want to propose a video for the future, you can leave them in the comments. If you are interested in an astrological reading, you can visit my website, paulalustenberg.com, where I offer different possibilities. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. I hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much and see you in the next one.